Hey everybody, and welcome back to Life with Lolo. It is time for our weekly recap of Married at First Sight. This is season 12, episode 8, and it was titled Face to Face. Alright, y'all, before I jump into this recap review, if you are not already subscribed to my channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button along with the notification bell to be notified when I drop new videos. And also, if you end up liking this recap review, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button along with the share button. Alright, let's jump into this. This episode took place between days 12 and 17. I think it was I think that it ended on day 17. That last scene. Let's jump into the rest of the show. Let's get into it. Okay, we're gonna start off with Bree and Vincent. Okay, she asked him if he's good. He's saying no, he's not good. So apparently he came back because he was back in the bed. He said he made it down to the parking garage and then turned back around and went back upstairs and stuff. And I guess, he slept in the bed or whatever. She lets him know, like, you don't have to leave to get your head right. Like, we married now. Like, you just can't be leaving all the time. Like, we in a 2-bedroom apartment. If you need to calm down, get your life right, you can go into the other room. So he was like, okay. He's still upset. He says he's still upset. And, but like I said, he made it to the parking garage and then he realized he was responsible for Bree, responsible for Cookie, so he couldn't let them down. But he still feels like he was disrespected. And she says, like, that wasn't my intention. I wasn't trying to disrespect you. This is what I was trying to say to you. She tells him, like, she didn't know that she was offending him or whatever. And what she said, I think she apologized again. I'm not sure. He says in, like, his one-on-one, he doesn't feel like he has to keep telling her every time that she's rude. My take is you do, because she doesn't know you. Y'all don't know each other. Y'all just met, 12 days ago? Like, y'all don't know each other. So you still trying to understand her. She's still trying to understand you. Maybe what she says is the joke and you're not really understanding it and you're taking it out of context and so forth. So it's rude to you. So if you feel some type of way about something that she does or says, you need to let her know, because at this moment, she doesn't know what's going to offend you and what's going to get you upset or whatever. So you do have to tell her what is going on or whatever. Like I said, she did apologize, but it seemed like he wasn't letting it go. But then, a little bit when she said, like, this is home now, you can't just be saying like you going home or whatever, and we gotta kind of work stuff out. Then he seemed to look like he was loosening up and coming around to accepting her apology or whatever. But at first it was kind of like, when she was talking, he would look like he was still closed off. Later on, he meets with his friend, I forgot that guy's name, but he was in the wedding. He has the locks in his head and stuff like that, and they met up and stuff. And so Vincent says that, he's happily married, and, they always want to be on top of each other. The friend was like, on top, like on top of each other or whatever. He was like, no, you know what I'm saying. And so he was saying, like, they're both great people. They want to be in this relationship together. And he says that he's taking this marriage seriously. And he says, like, Bree is very direct with her words, and it's okay to be direct with your words. However, you kind of like gotta choose your words carefully, because if you see your other partner is not so much direct and maybe a little sensitive or a little emotional or a little whatever, you may have to choose your words a little differently. And he says that he chooses his words differently when he's talking to her, because he doesn't want to upset her and stuff like that. So the friend asked, was like, do you have any worst moments and stuff? And so Vincent, explains the story. The friend was laughing, and he was like, well, you laughing about it now, but then it was serious or whatever. And the friend was like, so you left because of the champagne? Like, what, you expected her to clean up or whatever? And the friend is basically like, because Vincent was like, well, I felt offended about it or whatever. And the friend is like, look, you gotta talk to her. Like, you gotta let her know what's going on with you. And maybe she was just joking. You gotta get to know her. You don't know her. Like, you have to know what your partner is attending and look at that versus just taking it out of context and getting in your head. You gotta look at her and be like, okay, is she just joking or what is she doing? Your friend, because he was like, well, I didn't expect her to say all that. I expected her to get a rag and clean me up because that's what I would have did. And he like, you can't expect her to do what you would do because she's not you. You have to let her do her and be in that moment or whatever. And I was like, if you don't speak them facts, he was just like, you need to get out your head. Think about where your partner is coming from and respond better. Like that response was overkill. You leaving, getting all upset about it and whatever. And he was like, look, man, I don't want you to mess this up because she's a good girl for you or whatever. And he looked like he was thinking about it. And then later on that night, they had, there was that housewarming. So his mom came over, his brother came over, her mom and her sister came over, and they all got along. They had like this little game about fun facts about Vincent and Brianna. Brianna was getting some of them right. Vincent was getting some of them right. They was both getting some of them wrong and stuff. But they looked like they had a good time. His mom looked like she enjoyed Brianna, and it was real cute or whatever. And that was pretty much it for them. They did have a meet up. The ladies met up and the guys met up or whatever. It really wasn't nothing too deep. I'm gonna get to it in a second after I talk about Haley and Jacob, but it really wasn't that deep, y'all. Virginia and Eric. So Virginia went to Savannah for 4 days to go to her, I think she was a bridesmaid. So she went to a friend's wedding and stuff like that. So she's gone for 4 days. Eric taking care of the dogs. He ends up running into Ryan. They talk about, you know, how it's a challenge to be living with someone. Eric got to remind us again how he lived with somebody, how he used to be living with somebody, but Virginia's not used to living with somebody. Ryan says, you know, he's not used to living with somebody. So it's like, you know, it's challenging, but they're going to figure it out. Eric has to let us know that, that when, I guess Virginia works from home, so when she's working from home or whatever, and he goes to give her a hug, it seems like it's bothering her, and he doesn't want her to get bored with him too soon or whatever. And I'm like, well, you need to spice it up. You old ass. You 34 years old. You living like you 64. Like, they just so old acting. And then we see Eric later. He took us to one of his friends in the park or whatever, and they're talking about the wedding, and Eric says that they had a good connection, and the friend was like, yeah, I saw that at the wedding. But Eric's issue is that Virginia likes to party a lot. She's real independent. She was like, well, I'm going so-and-so, but she doesn't kind of like check in or let him know or make him aware of what her plans are or whatever. He's like, well, I'm the husband, so I feel like I should know that stuff. He wants her to miss him while she's gone because he says that's going to be like a test to her love and to see if she really wants this relationship because she's around people that she knows, and if she misses him, it'll mean that much more. I'm like, boy. But the friend was like, well, I don't want you to be like too controlling and put like this whole stance on her because it can turn her away because she is independent. So don't be like so controlling, like make sure you give her space or whatever. And Eric was like, he will, but Virginia has a lot of walls, and the dad said that she had a lot of walls and he just kind of needs to chisel them down and stuff. And I think he said like her partying can be the demise of their relationship or whatever. And I could see that because if she's partying, every Thursday to Sunday, that could be a big ass issue or whatever. So, I mean, she might need to slow down, but so far it don't look like she's about to slow down. Then we see later on, Virginia came home the same day as the dang on housewarming. I was like, damn, she didn't get the rest. Nothing. So she came home the day of the housewarming. She's nervous about him meeting her 2 guy friends and stuff because of his stance on male friends and all that other stuff with females. I don't know if she said she missed him. He was doing a lot of talking, and she was just like, but he said that, what did he say? Oh, her issue was with him is that she thought that while she was away, he wanted her to communicate all the time, like all day and stuff. And he was like, well, no, the communication that we did, a couple hours or every hour during the day or whatever, that was fine. I enjoyed that or whatever like that. So he just wants to make sure, I guess he wants to make sure she okay, or I don't know what his issue is, but he give me like daddy vibes, like he want to be her daddy, and then she has daddy issues. So I mean, that might work out for her. I don't know, y'all. I don't know about them, but we're gonna see. They just need to kind of work on some stuff, and she need to put down the alcohol. she need to put down the alcohol. But she wants him to be more trusting in her. Basically, like, I'm grown. I've been handling myself all this time. Trust that I'm not going to do anything out here crazy or make you look like a fool or make myself look like a fool or whatever. Then it's the nighttime. The guy friends come over. His 2 guy friends come over. Like I said, she was kind of stressed. Of course, she wanted everybody to take a tequila shot. At first, one of the friends, Eric's friends, was like, no, I'm gonna be on my ass. But then he was like, all right. So everybody took a little tequila shot, and they were sitting there talking and whatnot. And I think his friend, the one he met at the park, was talking about the wedding and how he felt when asking Eric how he felt when he saw Virginia and stuff like that. And that same friend was like, well, she's more like the partying type. He's more reserved. So he's like real introvert. She's real extrovert. So them two together will kind of pull each other out of each other's shell and stuff like that. So he's here for their union and stuff. Then Cole, one of Virginia's friends, pulls Eric outside and just talks to him, and they just kind of chit chat and stuff. And Cole tells Eric, like, don't be so controlling over her. She's a badass chick. She's real independent, but don't be so controlling. And I'm sure Virginia told Cole to probably say that, like, look, let him know he ain't gotta be so controlling over me. And Eric says, like, because he's 34 and she's 26, is an 8-year difference, and they're in different sections of life, and he just wants to make sure that Virginia can handle marriage. And Cole was saying, like, every time them two talk, it's positive stuff about the wedding and stuff, and she's all in it or whatever. So at the end, all the friends got along. They did like this friend group hug and stuff. So it was good. What else? Haley and Jacob, child. So she meeting with her friend Lauren, and Lauren reminds me of Rachel Ray. Like, she got like that face, and her voice sounds like Rachel Ray. Well, anyway, Haley says that she been going on this emotional roller coaster and stuff. That she tells Lauren how after she finished processing the marriage and stuff, that it was way too much for her. And Lauren was like, "Oh my God, you pulled back." She was like, "Yeah." She was like, "Oh man, why'd you do that?" And she was like, "Well, what happened? What made you pull back?" And so she starts telling her how he all into the 80s, how the outfits he brought on the honeymoon was kind of like questionable. And my thing is, y'all was going to Vegas. Y'all was going to Vegas. Y'all wasn't going nowhere like spectacular. And I'm sure half the stuff in Vegas wasn't even open for real. So, girl, bye. And she was like, well, that's like petty stuff. Like, don't give it up because of those petty reasons. Like, try to get to know him, hear him out and stuff. And so Haley was like, well, yeah, then one night I had a girls' night, and then some of the guys showed up, and it wasn't supposed to be that way, but he thought it was. I didn't want him down there, and then he accused me of having like another boyfriend and all this other stuff. So she was like, well, it sounds like y'all having communication issues, and what are you doing to make an effort? So I was here for the friend, because she was like, well, what are you doing to try to make a connection with him versus putting it all on him? So I really like what she was getting at. I really like that. And she was saying, like, y'all just need to communicate, work on communication, learn each other's styles and get to know each other. And maybe both of y'all can pull from places that y'all didn't know. No, what'd she say? She was like, because you're going to regret leaving if you didn't do everything that you wish you would have did, and pull from places that you didn't even know existed and stuff like that. And she was basically telling her, like, marriage is more than like the petty-ish or whatever. And she said that her friend was trying, and she knew it was going to take some time or whatever. And then she told Haley, because you got to remember, it's not one heart on the line, it's 2 hearts on the line. So you have to remember all of that. And then later on, when the friends come over, everybody is pretty much excited for them. Lauren is saying, like, y'all have the support of your friends behind you. They kind of chat about the wedding. somehow it came up about Jacob's exes or something, and he was like, well, they had their own special disaster, and one of the Haley's friends was like, did they have a disaster, or was it you too? He was like, no, they were kind of disastrous, but I could go into some stories, but I don't want to ruin anybody. He said he don't want to make any more enemies or something like that. And so then he pulled Lauren and the other friend, I don't remember her name, to the side in the kitchen, and he kind of talked to them, and he was telling them how Haley kind of pulled away once they got intimate together, and he didn't know if like she didn't like me, if I did something wrong. So he was feeling insecure or whatever. So that's why he was all in his bag. She in her bag because it's moving too fast, too soon. And I'm like, girl, it was a Married at First Sight show. Like it started off at so like when you signed the paperwork, you knew what it was or whatever. But he said they kind of working on communication now, and the other friend said that Haley is afraid of commitment because she was like, I have not seen her in no relationship at all, and we've been friends since college or whatever. But this is something new for her. She's not really emotionally expressive. So this is going to be kind of challenging for her or whatever. And I think Jacob was saying, oh no, that was something else. Was that? No, that was when the guys were sitting down. And so she over there talking to his friends, and the man was like, well, what do y'all have in common? Well, we both like dogs. I was like, girl, that's it. That's it. And so they telling her like, Jacob is a good guy, he's a stand-up guy, and he's not used to subtle clues, so don't be subtle with him. You gotta be real direct if you want something from him or whatever. And then they kind of cheered at the end, and then later on her and Jacob sat down and they kind of talked and stuff, and she was just asking him questions about what he did when he was 28 and stuff, and he was saying how he flipped house, or he thought he was going to flip a house, but then he got stuck with the house because the housing market crashed in 2008, so it didn't go as he planned, and some other stuff, and they were just kind of talking, and I keep forgetting that she's 28 because she look older than 28, but whatever, child. And then real quick about the meetups, the ladies met. It was just Claire, Bree, and Haley. They met up, and they were just drinking and talking, and basically Claire was talking about Ryan. Okay, so Claire was saying how Ryan, they went to a party or something, and it was Jello shots, and she took a Jello shot, and he was uncomfortable with the Jello shots or something like that, and she didn't really understand that, and you could see Bree was just like, you could see Bree don't like Claire. She do not like Claire. And then what else happened there? And Claire was saying like they haven't had sex yet, and she's saying like for the first couple of days they didn't kiss, and she's just scared that she's going to give too much and not get anything back in return, and she's afraid that she's just going to be sitting around waiting for him to make the first move, do something or whatever. And then she was saying like she feels as though he's waiting to be emotionally connected, the love, the sex all at one time. And she says she feels as though they are emotionally connected. But I mean, like, if he's not feeling that and he moved extra slow, because he over there with the guys and they're talking, and it was all the guys minus Chris, thank God. And Benson was saying like he got to get used to coming home to another person. He says like after a hard days of work, he's usually like, oh yeah, I just want to be alone. But then, he got that other person there. So it's just kind of getting used to somebody being there. And on the other side, Bree was saying how she has to grow to love this man, and choosing to be with this person every day is hard. Like it's a hard, not that she don't want to be with him, but actively waking up that morning and just be like, you know what, I'm choosing to fall in love with him. I got to work to fall in love with him. I'm choosing to be with this man or whatever. Haley said that they was working on it. Her and Jacob was working on it. And Bree, she approves of their relationship. On the other side, what was I saying about Ryan? Ryan was saying like he's slow with everything. He takes his time. He has to feel it out. He doesn't trust everybody. Everybody has to build their trust. But where Claire is concerned, she like, oh, I trust everybody. So he's like, I don't know about that. So he's just moving like a snail pace. And Claire wants to boom, 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 boom. Vincent think that's going to be a problem for him and Claire or whatever. What else happened? Let me make sure I got everything. And Jacob said that he is afraid that he will make a connection with Haley, but because Haley keeps pulling back, by the time she wants to make the connection, he's going to be done and he's going to be walking away from it. So he's afraid that he's going to already I guess be tired of waiting for her to jump on board and stuff like that, because the time is ticking and all this other stuff. But I think he said he wanted to give her some time to catch up to him or whatever. So I'm like, oh, okay, which one is it, Jacob? Is you going to give her time to be in this process and to think about what's going on? Or is you going to be like, you know what, deuces, because you ain't jump on board soon enough or whatever. So I don't know about them either, child. Everybody, I'm like, what's going on? Like last week I was like, oh, they so cute. This week I'm like, what's going on? What's going on? I don't know what's going on with nobody except for Chris and Paige, child. Then the other couple, Claire and Ryan, we didn't really see too much of them until it came to the housewarming and her friends got sick, so she had invited Bree and Haley over to fill in for her friends. He had his two friends over. I think they're married, and they took shots or whatever. Ryan said he was going to take shots, for Claire and stuff, but he typically doesn't drink. And also, Jacob and Eric realized when they were sitting down together that their wives like to drink a lot, but they don't like to drink and stuff like that. So it's kind of like, at the party, Bree came after that shot. She was like, all right, well, I got to do some stuff with my husband, so I'm going to see y'all later. I said, girl, what was the point of you coming? What was the point of you coming, Bree? She was like, look, I arrived. You ain't say how long I had to stay. But anyway, Ryan, he sat down with his guy friend while Claire's giving him a tour and stuff like that. And he was saying like it's just a difference in lifestyles, and Ryan doesn't live in the moment. He's real calculated with what he does. He wants to have fun, but at the right speed, which is the snail speed for him. And she feels as though he's in his head and he needs to get out his head, and it's like this old man thing. And then she said she never saw him with his shirt off. I said, what? So when he go to bed, he got a shirt. When he get dressed in the bathroom, like, what is going on, Ryan? Let us know what is going on. And then she said that how can they engage in certain acts, but not, what she said, how can we engage in some physical acts and not others? So I'm like, is they just giving head to each other? Like, is they kissing? Is they doing like hand jobs? Like, what is going on? Like, why y'all just can't? How old is we? Because if you're giving me some oral, we need to go the rest of the way as well. Like, what? Like, so I need clarity on what she talk about, because if we can give oral, then we can just go ahead and have intercourse. Like, what is the problem here, Ryan? But she says she is physically, sexually frustrated, child. And then I was like, was she just giving him head and she ain't getting, like, what is going on? Y'all let me know what y'all think. They hope that the relationship, the friends hope that the relationship lasts forever. Like, they took a big risk and they hope that it lasts forever. And then Claire and Ryan made like some weird faces. And I was like, what is going on? It's like, if you don't ball out, you wow this woman for she pack up and leave. Because she just wants something at this point. And then Paige and Chris, child. So he meeting with Pastor White and his friend Mikhail or whatever, and he wants to tell them about his decision. So he want to catch them up or whatever. Mikhail was like, oh, I bet they having twins or whatever. So he bet on it and stuff. I was like, who does that? But whatever. He busts out with, so this week I asked Paige for a divorce. They both like, what? Like, you just got married. Like, you didn't even give this process no time and stuff. And they was both shocked. They was both like, why would you do this? And stuff like that. And so he tells them how when she came down the aisle, he was uncomfortable. It was awkward for him because he wasn't attracted to her. And so he thought after sex, he was going to be magically attracted to her. Where does that work at, sir? Nowhere. And he said that that didn't happen. And the pastor looking like, what? And so then he was like, no, did he tell him that the person was, no. So then the pastor was like, well, I feel like you was moving in the right direction. marrying Paige or whatever. Like, you need to learn about commitment. And like, you came before God and you pledged these vows from death to us part. You made a covenant and stuff like that. And you like really like walking away from this or whatever. And so yeah, Chris did tell them that he was the ex-fiance was pregnant, because they was both looking like, what? Huh? And so he was like, well, if this is your child, this is the pastor. He was like, if this is your child, then, you know, the child will be fine. Like, you could still be married to your woman and then still have this woman over here with your child. Like, you don't have to marry her or be with her because she's pregnant with your child or whatever like that. And so Chris was like, he want to focus on his responsibilities. And the pastor was like, I feel like Chris is being selfish. He's embarrassing her family, his family, her, himself. Like, he just, like, he being real immature. And I was like, glad somebody else said it. He being real immature. And then Mikhail was like, you need this marriage. Like, you hit the jackpot with Paige. Like, she is dope. Like, she is a rarity or whatever like that. Like, she is a diamond, and that is rare. Like, you is about to miss out on this big thing. Like, you need her in your life or whatever. But he ain't really listening. He all looking on his phone and rolling his eyes. And then they like, well, like, consider her feelings and stuff like that. And he like, well, you know what? I'm just pretty much done with this conversation. I don't really want to talk about it. And so the pastor was like, I really feel like you're making a real selfish decision. And he was like, I ain't making no selfish decision. He was like, yes, you are. You being real immature and you making a selfish decision or whatever. And you got to be mindful about who involved and who you hurting and stuff like that. And so Chris was just like, all right, I'm done with this conversation. I'm done. And he ain't even talking no more. I said, this, you showing your immaturity right here. Like, come on, sir. And so then he had the nerve to call her up with some small talk. Well, how you doing? What you doing? What you want? That's what do you want? And so he was like, well, I just want to know if you're available tomorrow, because I want you to meet my ex-fiance to clear the air. For what? For why? And so Paige is like, wait, what? Why? Like, or whatever. He was like, well, you know, I just want to clear the air and, you know, get things out on the table and stuff. And she like, look, I just need to pray on it and I'm going to let you know. He was like, oh, okay. And so she tells us that she got to process it all because it's a lot and yada, yada, yada. I'm like, you think? But I was so mad, like, she met up with him. But then I was like, okay, I see you want to get your thoughts out. You want to let him know and let her know, too. Like, you not in for the F shit. So she meets up with them, and she says she's taking her power back by meeting up with him. And she wants to know what's going on. So Mercedes shows up, and she was like, oh, you guys look real jazzy. I said, not jazzy. Shut up, Paige. Shut up. Shut up. So then Paige is questioning if the girl is really pregnant, because she ain't seen no pregnancy test. She ain't hear about no doctor's visit. She ain't hear about none of that. So is she really pregnant? She asked Mercedes, like, how many weeks are you? She's stumbling about 7 weeks. Girl, you should know that off key. Like, you should know how many weeks you're pregnant, but whatever. Mercedes starts off saying, like, she don't have no ill will feelings against Paige and stuff. And Paige is like, well, did you know he was in the process of getting married? Or did you know about the process? Did you know he was married? Mercedes says no. She found out when she told him that she was pregnant or whatever. And so she was just saying, like, how she's so confused about the situation. Like, it's a lot going on. And Paige is like, yeah, because, you know, like 7 weeks ago, y'all had a moment. And then, bam, he married or whatever. And then she was like, and then here he go, well, I just brought y'all together, not for the drama or nothing like that, but to clear the air. Nigga, we heard what you said the first time. Shut up. So he's gonna say that this is my wife and the mother. Shut up, because you just asked her for a divorce. So then she says, well, Paige says she don't have nothing to ask, but if Mercedes has something to ask, then she can go ahead and ask or whatever like that. And Mercedes said, well, she's still trying to process it all, and she had a lot of anxiety, and she just basically taking one day at a time. I just hated the way she talked. Like, I hate that. Mercedes is pretty, but I don't like the way she talks. That just drives me crazy. But she was saying it's going to be one day at a time for her. And then Paige says, yeah, I bet, because, you know, everything is confusing and stuff like that. And you know, like, you signed up, and then I signed up for this process, and then, like, you're the mother of his child. And then he tells me, like, his fear is falling in love with me, but then he wants to make it through or whatever, and wants us to be together or whatever like that. But and I told him, like, I could be a bonus mom, like, I don't have a problem with being a bonus mom and stuff. And it was just weird to me because I had a fear that I was going to be pregnant like you or whatever. And child, that's when Mercedes had lost me, because then she gonna say, pregnant by who? Who else would she be pregnant by? She married to that man, husband. And so then she looked at Chris like, pregnant? Like, you ain't tell me y'all had sex. Well, then she said they was intimate, but then she said what she say? Because it sounded stupid. She said, I knew they was intimate. He told me they was intimate, but that's a different level of intimacy that I didn't think that he did or whatever. And I'm like, well, what did you think he meant when he said intimate? Did you think that they kissed, held hands, like what? So she was like, by Chris, and she was like, yeah. And so then Mercedes started laughing, and so what's her name? Paige was like, well, you know, I was like, what if I was pregnant? Would he just leave me too? Like, if that's what he was going to do or whatever. And like, what if I was as well? And then she bust out later, like, I'm not pregnant or whatever. And something she was saying, I forgot what she said. She said something, and then she was Paige was saying, like, first, like, I mean, this was Mercedes. Mercedes was saying, like, no, that's what happened. Mercedes had said, well, is that what you thought? Did you think she was pregnant or something like that? And he was like, no, that wasn't what was in my thoughts. And then he had that stupid ass grin. And so then Mercedes was like, well, I was engaged and pregnant, and then I found out that he married, like, this is something big or whatever. And she was just saying, like, she is lost and stuff. And so Paige was like digging that knife. I said, get him, girl, get him. So then she was like, well, you know, because I came into this with my pure intent, well, my intentions are pure. Okay, so my intentions were pure, and I came into this, and, you know, like, you were with her 7 weeks ago, and then you were married, like, so, and then she's pregnant, so, like, your intentions are questionable or whatever. And then he alluded that you and him were working it out or whatever. And I'm like, I just don't understand or whatever. She was like, okay, well, just to clear the air, girl, me and Chris is not working it out. That is not happening. That is not in my thoughts. That is not in my plan. I said, oh, snap. She just played you, because you thought you was finna get back with Mercedes. So Paige is thinking like, well, then what was the issue? Like, he talking about he making a, well, this is what she said to us. She didn't say to him. So she was saying, like, he wanted a divorce because they was going to get back together. So did she just realize that, oh, well, what I'm telling her, that I don't want to get back together with him, or was they really trying to work it out or whatever? So she was cracking up. She was like, yeah, now he embarrassed on national TV because Chris got irritated. He started rolling his eyes. He didn't want to talk. He didn't want to have no conversation or whatever. So basically, he was being immature with it or whatever. And he's talking about something, he irritated, but God is good. And Mercedes was like, well, you always irritated, Chris. You always irritated. And Paige was like, so basically, like, you just got, what she say? She was like, I'd be irritated too if somebody I said I was going to get back together with just denied us getting back together on national TV. I would be irritated too. So she said something about everybody made investments and stuff, and the conversation not going the way he wanted it to go. So he being rude. Mercedes was trying to check him like, that's not cute. And he was like, well, I'm not trying to be cute. I'm sitting here trying to have a conversation, and she being rude and stuff, and she been rude the whole time. And Mercedes was like, she hasn't been rude the whole time. Underneath the circumstances, I think she's holding it very well and stuff. And you're the one being I feel as though she's being very mature about the whole thing or whatever. And I was just like, read him, both of y'all. And so he gets up, he done with the conversation. He gets up and leave and stuff. And so Mercedes apologizes to Paige for dragging her into this conversation and all this other stuff. Paige is basically like, this relationship does not benefit me anymore because I need a man who's going to be there and stuff like that. And not somebody who's just going to be dipping out every second and stuff. Like, you have yet to honor your vows and stuff. So this relationship does not honor me anymore. It don't do me any good anymore. So I'm pretty much done. She said she don't have no ill will feelings against Mercedes, and they both said they each other was beautiful. They hugged it out, and then that was pretty much it. But I was just like, get him, Paige. And I was so happy that she finally said that she was done with this relationship, because for the longest time she was trying to give him chance after chance after chance. And God brought us together and yada, yada, yada. And it's like, girl, no. God is telling you to leave. He's throwing up the bright red flag. Girl, run. And you wanted to sit there with him. So I'm finally glad that she got it in her mind to finally get up and leave. And I'm glad Mercedes wasn't coming on there acting a damn monkey, because you know how some of them females can be all up in your face like you did something, and you like, check your man. So like, I'm glad she didn't come on there acting a monkey, and she actually had Paige back, and they both checked Chris, because he basically immature. Like, you looking all up in the sky, you on your phone, you trying to cut her off. Well, I can't wait to get home and eat dinner. And boy, shut up. Don't nobody care. And what's going to irritate me next week is that he want to, I saw, like, the previews, they meeting up again. Like, Paige, why you keep meeting up with this damn sloth? Like, girl, stop. Anyway, y'all let me know what y'all thought about the episode down there in them comments. If y'all ended up liking this recap review, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button and hit that share button, y'all. All right, until next. Oh, and don't forget, if you are not subscribed to my channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell to be notified when I drop new videos. All right, y'all. Until next time. Peace.